As a result of growing up in a strong Catholic household, I was raised to follow and believe in Christian values. In addition to my parents being Catholic, I attended a Catholic kindergarten and elementary school until my 8th grade graduation. Following elementary school, I attended Fordham Prep, and I am currently enrolled in Fordham University, which are both Jesuit Catholic schools. However, I am the furthest one can be from having faith in Catholicism, or any religion for that matter. I believe Freud said it best when he mentioned how religion controls the minds of children until they are old enough to think for themselves. That was my experience in a Catholic grammar school, in which I was forced to go to church and participate in rituals I thought were meaningless in action. Rather than question, most children simply go along with the religions of their family when they are young. This may lead to resentment and questioning of that religion later on, when they realize there are more appealing religions out there as they inevitably grapple with the questions of life. It was not until my junior year of high school did I begin to wrestle and question with the existence of God and other Catholic values. It was not the fact that I lost faith in Catholicism, but rather Catholicism was not providing answers that I felt were satisfying enough. I became less concerned with one particular religion and instead began to explore spirituality in a more thorough fashion. The notion between religion and spirituality fosters a momentous difference in regard to breaking from one's family religion, which I believe parents should be completely supportive of if their children decide to explore other religions. The reason for this is because religion somewhat contains individuals, forcing them to adhere to a particular set of beliefs while undergoing ceremonies and rituals. As a result, one cannot question his religion, and if he never questions, then he cannot grow as an individual part of his family system or grow in life in general. Spirituality fosters the growth of an individual as spirituality transcends religion and allows one to explore, question, and cope with life as opposed to adhering to one religious model. Being able to think about life and why one behaves in the fashion he does, rather than just go along with religion, or anything else for that matter, is extremely healthy for the psychological well-being of an individual and shows uniqueness. In turn, coming to terms with who he is and what he believes in will cause him to be happier as an individual part of his family and in life in general. However, I don't mean to dismiss religion completely, because research has shown that parents who do impose their religion of choice onto their children have children who develop well, and the historical, social, and theological ties that bind religion and the family to one another run very deep. In recent years, scholars have increasingly drawn attention to religious commitments to patriarchy and parental authority to argue that religion exerts an influence on parents and by extension their children. Religious parents more generally come closer to typifying the authoritative style of parenting, linking to a range of positive outcomes among children and adolescents. Therefore, if one views religion as a type of authoritative entity with upright rules and regulations, rather than from a religious point of view, then influencing religion on children contribute to a positive moral development. Also, aside from moral development, children who develop a religious background fare better in school and develop academic discipline as well. Research also favors to provide children with some kind of religious development to build morals and discipline. One learns his morals, such as not stealing, lying, or swearing, from family at a young age, but also from religious traditions in Catholic schools, which also instill in children the discipline needed to gain academic success. I do not believe my family or any other family or public school can provide the morals and discipline Catholic schools can. However, evidence proves that as children develop and their minds begin to mature, most children who are now teenagers will begin to question their religious traditions they followed for so long. Children and teenagers learn from other people's testimonies, such as friends and teachers, but especially in the fields of science and religion, that can only go on for so long. For example, children learn that mental processes depend on the brain and that the earth is spherical. Such learning might indicate that other people's testimony simply amplifies children's access to empirical data. However, children's understandings of God's special powers and the afterlife shows that their acceptance of others' testimonies extends beyond the empirical domain. Whereas science is learned through textbooks, can be proven, and children must accept these facts to succeed in school, religion cannot be proven. Religion is based on faith, which is highly objective and not based on proven facts. And at this stage of development, once teenagers have developed upright morals and a strong discipline for academic success due to religious education, parents must allow their children to wrestle with their faith they were following for so long if their children choose to do so. And at this point, a single religion transforms into spirituality. Children have spiritual capacities and experiences, moments, if you will, both little and large, that shape their lives in enduring ways. These varied experiences reveal a rich and significant spiritual life that has gone largely unrecognized in child development and yet may provide one of the most fundamental sources of human motivation. Spirituality is incredibly important. It embraces connectiveness with others that include other people and a higher being, establishes personal beliefs and values, and the search of answers to the meaning of life. There's very little evidence or research that shows religion or spirituality hinders rather than helps in the development of children and adolescents. And even though I am still against organized religions as an adult for a number of personal reasons, I believe parents should still lay down some kind of basic foundation of morals and beliefs while their child is young. But if he decides to question his faith while he transitions through his life, then the family should be completely open to the idea of letting their children explore. And who knows, perhaps the child will return to Catholicism or his family's religion after grappling with his thoughts and concerns about spirituality as he matures. But without an understanding and appreciation for new spiritual beliefs, perhaps the answers to the questions he will inevitably ask about life will never be answered to his liking. So I encourage everybody, not just children and teenagers, but everybody, to search deeper into their own morality and religion instead of just taking life as it comes.